It's the 2020 election. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a little, but I still reinvest it. Fear how I feel, then you feel like a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down, hold his hand.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I messed up a few of these takes. I was gonna do a different weekend video. We have Young Lending Tips.
What's up?
He's not young. He was just showing
Pretty
me.
old.
He was showing me Eminem tapes. I was trying to show him Uncle, but that was weird, man. He was like, he loves Eminem. It's great. It's great. But
My age group.
we want to talk about something, or I want to talk about. I want to interview Lending Tips because if you were on stream today, we made an announcement. Shout out to the vets, baby. We have a gift for some of you, so watch the stream. Go back over it. We have a criteria, but we love you. God bless you. But in the process of this, a lot of people sent us emails and people have different debts in collection. I want to talk about collection and overall debt education. I think this is something
That's a good call.
that we should get into, that I think people need to start knowing about to like even handle debt, but like, you know, do it responsibly. But then even then, this story that Lending Tips told me, I just thought it was crazy. So pretty much, I want to talk about what to do with collections, or I think you guys could get from this story. Make your own judgment, really, and do what you want to do with it. But I mean, my question is like, and I think he could answer this better. What happens essentially if you get into collection and then you don't like pay it? What's the worst that could happen with collection?
The worst thing that could happen.
I'm sorry, you keep talking.
The worst thing that can happen is literally they serve you with papers and you have to go to mediation and you have to settle in court. So if you don't settle and you go to court and you don't come up to an agreement, they put a judgment on your credit that stays on there for 7 years, and there's ways out of the judgment. So that's the worst thing that can happen, and that's if you have a savvy debt collector. And you're probably like, hey, how do you know this? First-hand experience.
So wait, but essentially, like, and I even asked you, what was like, so how does it, what if you are 30 days behind on a payment?
Okay, so
how does it affect you? What's going to be happening to your credit? What's going to happen to...
So 30 days, you can call your creditor and be like, hey, yo, my bad, I forgot, I went out of town, here's the money. And they'll reverse it. They won't even show up on your credit as a 30-day late. Once you get to month number 2, you're running kind of out of excuses, right? I don't know if you've ever owed.
How does it affect your credit? How is it going to affect if you want to get a loan in the future?
Yeah, so
all
that 60 days is when you get your hit. And now all your creditors think this guy can't pay his bills back. So they're not going to extend credit to you.
At 60 days is when you get a real hard effect.
That's when you see the real hard effect. Okay. 90 days, a little bit harder, you get another ding on your credit report, about 10 points. And then after 90 days, it goes to collections. And once it's in collections, your reputation on your credit report is basically shot for 7 years. Even if you make that payment in full after, like say after 6 months, you pay these guys back, your reputation is still shot. It still shows collection.
What do you mean by that? Like, so you have it, it's going to hurt your credit. Would it have the same effect when you go for a home loan, or
it will still
you
have
apply
the same effect? Yep.
So if you were in collection, what is collection in general? What does that actually mean?
So collection is, say you owe Wells Fargo money. Wells Fargo is going to say, look, Josh, you can't pay it back. We're going to just charge it off. They're going to write it off their books. So basically, they're giving up on you. They're going to say it's a negative thing. They're done with you and everything else. So it's a negative thing. And now they're going to sell your debt to a collection agency. So a collection agency is buying your debt pennies on the dollar. And their job, and the way they make money, is obviously to hunt you down and get you to pay something over what they're paying, so they can make money on the
There's a really good John Oliver on that, if any of you know who John Oliver is.
Yeah.
But so collection, then that means you're already behind on your bill then, and then so that means you already even have the prior 3 dings of 60 days, 90 days on your credit. That's already hit,
and you've already gotten through the worst part of the being late part, besides getting to the final story of going to court, right, if that gets to that. So for 7 years, these collection agencies will buy and sell debt. So if they can't get a hold of me after a year, they're going to sell it to another collection agency just to get some money back and give it up, right? And that cycle keeps happening for 3, 4, 5 years until someone just gives up. So your credit report is going to show that you're in collections for 7 years, and then it drops off automatically. Now, I would try to do whatever you can to settle. So settling is one of the biggest unknowns in the world. People will take less money because their margins are there. So if Josh Answers he's holding a debt for $1. I don't know if you guys saw that stream where he's like, hey, can I buy your debt for $1? Now he's got margin, right? He could sell it for whatever, and that's what these agencies look at. So if you call and say, hey, I'll give you $1,000 right now, man, let's settle this, and you owe $10,000, they might take it, right? And it's better than you trying to make payments over the life of the
So, but now this is the part, and this is where I want to hear about your story with it, though, because like, if you paid that let's say you even settled at $1,000, what happens to your credit now? Are you out of collection, and then does your credit jump up, or like what happens?
So your credit does not jump up. It still shows that you were in collection, but you paid it. So now when I apply for something, at least my creditors know that I paid off that collection, and it gives me a favorable light, but it doesn't help my credit score. It doesn't do anything for my actual credit report. It's still going to show that I was behind and got to collections. Now you're saying, so what's the point, right?
Yeah. So it's kind of like a tattoo.
Yeah.
It lasts for 7 years.
Exactly.
And people can still see it no matter what. You got a tattoo on your face, essentially, is what. And, I mean, that's kind of tight, too. There's nothing wrong with tattoos.
Tattoos are cool. You have to have compensating factors, right?
Face tattoos. I want a face tattoo.
That's cool. Whatever, man. So when you apply for a credit card, say in the future, and you paid off, you can tell them, hey, I had this collection, something happened, but I have a good job now. Here are my pay stubs. Here's my bank account where I have 6 months reserves. That was a thing of the past, and you can explain that better. So that's really the only reason why you would pay a debt that's in collections.
Okay. Or now, if you're forced to. Because now that's the thing. You can still have a court judgment that could make you pay a debt because you took out. That's what I'm saying. What are the consequences and like all of that, like when you're taking this? So it's like you could sell debt, you could settle on the debt, you could do all that, but like what happens now if you never pay this back? It's on collection.
Can I tell my story about the repo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
So 2008, I got my car repossessed. And long story short, they took away the car. They said, if you want it back, you got to pay $10K. I go, I don't have $10K to pay. I was 24, whatever, 23. And so they're like, all right, we're going to sell the car at auction. Whatever the difference is, you have to pay back. And I was like, I can't do it. So I'm not going to pay it. So leave me alone type thing. So every year, every month, every day, I would get a collection call, right? You would just clear them or block them or whatever. After 6 years and like 9 months, I thought I was out of the clear. It was almost that 7-year mark. And so I thought I was done. And then until someone came up to my work, I worked at a big bank, and they were like, hey, are you Josh? And I'm like, hey, yeah, what's up? And she was like, you got served. Here's a thing, come outside. They served me at my work. And I was like so close to getting out of this debt, right? But that wasn't even that bad because I went to court. We sat down face to face with the attorneys, and they're like, hey, here's a settlement agreement. Can you make this payment? And it was like $4,000. And I was like, no. Can you do 2? And they were like, they came back and they were like $2,500 or $33,000. I was like, whatever, put me on the payment plan and let's do it. And that was the worst thing that could happen. And then it dropped off of my credit report as a collection. Now it's an actual debt with a monthly payment.
So then they served you, took you to court, got you to court, and then they ended up settling for a smaller amount even in court. And that didn't cost you anything except your time to go to court and do all that?
Just time, yep.
Okay, and then...
So 75% off the debt.
And they did all that, taking you to court for that. Now, what if you came back into the negotiating table during that mediation session and said no to everything? I can't pay anything. I have no money. I can't pay.
They would put you on they would file a judgment. And a judgment sticks on there for another 7 years.
But would that be up to the judge, or
it would be up to a court?
Okay,
yeah.
So this is small claims court. We're assuming this is 10,000. What about for things larger than 10,000?
I mean, that's something I've luckily never experienced except foreclosures. And I don't think you're going to have anything.
I think the issue with that, with above 10,000, is that you're just going to have
it's good money after bad.
Yeah, well, you're just gonna have people more motivated to recover it, because if you're buying that pennies on the dollar, like, again, that's what I'm saying. Like, if that guy gave me that $400,000 debt for $1, well, shit. I mean, I might spend $2,000, $1,000. You see what I'm saying?
Spend $200,000 on court fees.
Well, it depends how the quality. If he said 15 years ago, it's with this and that. That's the factor. So I think when it comes down to it, just larger amounts is just the steps people will take to recover it, especially since, you were right there, these people are, it's rightfully their money though, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
If you did end up in collection, that means that you took out debt and you did not pay it back.
Yeah.
So,
but I see a lot of people freaking out that they're in collection, or they're behind on their bills. To be honest with you, your most important bill is you, right? You got to feed yourself, your family, put lights on, have the heater work, have a house to live in, right? Everything else, yeah, it's self-inflicted, like a credit card or something that you're behind on, but you can get by these days without certain commodities, like even a car, like you could take the bus or something. So
you think people are freaking out over collections, or now if people had money now, if you had to decide pretty much between certain bills right now, or like you get money, you do a first real estate deal and you're behind on bills, and like maybe you have rent, all that, like, does it make sense to pay? I don't see, this is where it's like,
it does not make sense. It makes sense to call and negotiate. If you have the access to funds, call and negotiate, because like I said, the margins are there. They're willing to negotiate. They don't want to call you every single day. They don't want to try to hunt you down. They don't want to go to court.
But then I think what you're saying is, like, if you're down to your last $1,000 and you have to pay, your food bill or something more important, versus pay a debt that is past due already into collections.
Food.
Okay. And
100% of the time. Yeah.
And also return your cable box.
That's the biggest thing I see. AT&T and AT&T don't forgive. They don't care.
Yeah, because that's what I bring that up, because I don't know if you guys, like, that's a common, that we were talking about it, because we have a lot of friends, and then like I've been close to it. They almost clapped me before. I feel like you gotta be careful, but a lot of people will literally have collections simply for not returning their cable box, moving somewhere,
and it's $60, $65, $75, and it hurts your credit. So stay on top of it. I mean, a lot of people are this is 2020, right? A lot of people are going through tough times, but I know this is a debate and we could talk about it, but the tough times are not your credit report. It's not your credit card. It's just literally taking care of your family at this point, because it took that collection company, the third collection company, almost 7 years to get their money. So I passed the buck 7 years.
So hopefully you could, I mean, probably by that, and then even then,
in the meantime, you could easily dig yourself out of the hole. Right?
But the way to do that, and that's where debt education, which debts to pay off, how to, prioritize and go after that. Even some people ask, should you go invest in dividend stocks or pay off interest as well, or buy a house, if you pretty much can make more with a safer investment than the interest. But listen, we're not going to get into that. But I think this kind of explains everything, and even in general, I mean, collection-wise. So how to deal with collections in 2021, I think the easiest way to summarize this is try to negotiate. People will be motivated to settle. Prioritize-wise, the damage is already done after 90 days. Yep. And could the damage get any worse after 90 days?
It could not get any worse in terms of your credit report. It's going to be stressful. The stress is there. People call you every single day. They're hunting you down. They're going to tell you this and that. Don't listen to them, because they use high, intense methods.
Oh my God, yeah. Go watch that John Oliver. Some of them are fucking crazy.
They are extremely aggressive.
Some of them are fucking insane.
And you have rights as a consumer.
I think, you do have rights as somebody trying to collect a debt.
Yeah, exactly. And to be honest with you, there's credit repair companies who will negotiate for you if you're afraid to do that directly.
But some of those are sketchy too, though. Be careful.
Use the bigger ones, yeah.
Because I also, because how many people are getting the fucking mail and it's saying consolidate your debt? Those are very, very, I think.
I have personal friends who do credit repair. So they'll write the letters for you. They have the templates. If you want to do it yourself, you can find it online, to be honest with you. And that will help pause the aggressiveness from all the collections in 2021. A lot of you guys are probably getting them right now. I guess a lot of people are forgiving right now, right? But all those things are going to stop in 2021, and people are going to come after you, just like 2008 and they came after me. Ignore them. Put your head down. If you can pay, try to settle with them. If you can't, ignore them. Work hard. Try to do whatever you can to keep going. Don't look in your rear view mirror.
And none of this is a recommendation. I mean, I would consult with a tax professional or any other professional for this, a debt professional. Probably should have put that in the beginning. I'll probably cut this to the beginning.
Rewind.
To the beginning. This guy is not a registered professional.
Well, I've been through it. I'm not a professional, but I've been through what you guys have been through. I've been repoed. I have 3 foreclosures on my record. 3. 1, 2, 3.
This is your personal story, though.
This is my personal story, and I know people are going to have a similar story to this in the future. And if they're watching, I just want them to know, like, hey, like, we've been through it. We know what you're dealing through, and don't worry about it to a certain extent. Just focus on you and being a better person every single day, because that's what I did, and it worked. Like, I got better, and I just kept working hard, so it never happened again.
Yeah, simple as that. All right, man. Well, I appreciate that. I hope you guys appreciate that for the weekend video. We're going to leave it there. I love you. The Drip Tape loves you. God bless you all, and have a good evening or morning.